how much it matters, na? I mean, when you come from Silicon Valley, working for a fancy organization, you come into India or any place wherever you go into, and there you learn the basic nuggets of how business is being done. You can't change certain things.
Absolutely. There's so much of learning in the day-to-day thing. At a point, I remember when we opened our Ville Parle store, we had taken bus brandings, 10 bus की branding, एक bus stop पे भी branding किया था next to our store, and auto rickshaw के ऊपर भी पीछे. That time it was still new, and we got so many calls, so many people on. So ये तेरा board देखा था मैंने इधर. It felt so good that भाई हमारा नाम भी बाहर boards पे है. So that was the first wave. The second wave was, like I said, we started picking up on the B2B business.
Okay.
The B2B business was scaling very, very well. More and more customers were happy with our services and joining us. But after a certain number of years, we started hitting a plateau even there.
Okay.
What used to happen is that I feel that the amount of physical interaction between a print transaction is a lot. Samne in the company would typically deal with either an admin guy or a procurement guy, and here my sales guy would be dealing. Everything is completely relationship based.
True.
We started gaining 25-30 customers a year and losing 25-30 customers a year. And why losing? One admin guy moving to another company, a new admin guy comes in, he comes with his own set of vendors. तो इतने साल जो हमने अच्छा किया कंपनी के साथ, overnight it gets washed off. And we reached the stage saying that we can't continue doing it. For us to make projections for the next year started becoming very, very hard. That if I'm not able to predict that whether this customer is going to stay with me or not, then for me to project my next year's sale the year after that becomes very, very hard. So at that point of time, we started figuring out, is there a way we can somehow automate, digitize some of these processes and make them less dependent on people.
Get into technology
is when our third kind of wave came into play.
Okay.
Our third pivot.
Okay.
Actually, technology was always a strong pillar for us. And in fact, I do remember that even in 2007, when we started the business, we had created a first website with the ability for the customer to upload a file and it comes to us.
So that early?
That early, but it never took off. Customers were used to calling us up, CD pick up karo, pen drive pick up karo, or jobs karke do.
I'm sure.
But we had some of those seeds from right up front, from 2007. And our current avatar today was actually our third or fourth attempt. And when I say third or fourth attempt, because I come from a computer science background, Siddhi comes from a computer science background, and we always felt that यार हम technology background से कुछ तो बना ही लेंगे. And our first 2-3 attempts were major failures because we couldn't distinguish between whether we are a services or a printing company or we are a technology company. You cannot be both at the same time. So we had to pick the right, and that time we were still scaling our business.
Yeah.
But what happened is we started realizing that there is too many manual things happening in the print transaction space, and there's a huge opportunity to automate, to digitize some of these things.
Okay.
And that's when we started getting into our third pivot, which is into e-commerce.
Oh, nice.
So around 2014 is when we launched printstop.co.in,
okay,
which is our B2C or public facing e-commerce website.
Achha.
The idea was that you can do online printing of any kind of printed stationery, marketing collateral. We were focused on primarily paper-based products at that time.
Okay.
So any kind of marketing collateral, any kind of printed stationery you need, you can upload your artworks online, use our templates online, place an order, and we'll get it delivered across India. So that's where our third pivot started. And to take our B2B offline business, which was our bread and butter and a larger part of our business, wherein we would have salespeople go in, understand requirements, give a quote, if you are L1, get the job and do it. There we moved on to our fourth pivot and we started developing B2B e-commerce.
Okay.
What I mean by B2B e-commerce is that we create websites for corporates to be consumed internally.
Okay.
And we've got multiple solutions in the B2B e-commerce which are now evolved. I mean, when I say it today, it sounds very easy. I'm able to explain to you very easily because it's been 7-8 years in the journey. But our initial formative years were spent a lot behind customer education, when we go and talk to people कि भाई ये ऑनलाइन प्रिंटिंग, पीपल लाइक ये ऑनलाइन प्रिंटिंग क्या है? What do you mean by ऑनलाइन प्रिंटिंग? हमारा तो बंदे को हम पेन ड्राइव देते हैं, वो जाता है, वो सैंपल लेके आता है, हम अप्रूव करते हैं, वो प्रिंट लेके आता है, डिलीवर करता है. ये ऑनलाइन प्रिंटिंग क्या है? And that's when we started explaining to them the nuances of it. And see, originally this whole online printing was a marketing gimmick. And when I say a marketing gimmick, not that I don't intend to do it, the idea was to get their attention. Typically, whenever you go into any company, as part of, if you tell them you're a printer, the lowest executive in the admin team will meet you. पहले तो वो बोलेगा मेरे पास 30 प्रिंटर है, यू आर द 31st, जॉइन द क्यू. रिसेप्शन पे बहुत घंटे बिताए हैं वेट करने के लिए, मिलता है 2 मिनट मिलेगा और चला जाएगा. How respectful, absolutely. They don't treat partners very well, unfortunately, in this place. When we started talking about, when we stopped talking about print and started talking about what is your process, what are your challenges, how we can automate it, suddenly we started talking to the decision makers and the stakeholders. And then we started using our background कि हम we are a technology company, हम ये कर सकते हैं, हम वो कर सकते हैं. Print conversations happen later on. First tell us what are your challenges, how are you procuring this print, इसमें क्या कितने क्या क्या प्रोसेस हो रहा है, कैसे क्या क्या चैलेंज आ रहे हैं, and then accordingly.